This is not good. Why did you do that? It was still free.
Yeah, 2 days. Oh, don't understand what he wants.
What he wants, he doesn't. Well, basically, he makes an appeal to these kids. Like, okay, what are you feeling so? Why do you feel like an outsider? Why do you feel that the world owes you anything? The world owes you nothing. It's up to you to fight and to make a position for yourself. Don't pretend that you don't need anything and that you don't want to put in any
He
effort.
tried to encourage students?
Yeah, he tries to antagonize them. Not really.
What is his message?
His message is that you better stand up and start take responsibility for your life, because nobody else is going to do that.
Oh, I see.
They don't take responsibility for their lives. They don't. They
You
basically
should have your identity.
right, but they don't have it. They don't have it, and they don't
So
have.
he's talking about what you are living for.
These kids are completely isolated from themselves, from their surroundings. Even though there are many kids around them, every single one of them is an individual. Every single one of them.
They lost objective.
They lost objective. They don't have any role models. They don't have the parents. They're not looking after them. They don't have the other kids that look
But
after
he's
them.
trying to encourage them.
Yeah, he starts to say, okay, even though your situation might not be good, we survived. So now it's up to you to stand up, take responsibility for your life, and start making an effort.
He didn't say study?
No.
Strange.
No, but I think that's the first. I mean, first you need to have a goal, then you go study. I think that if you don't have a goal, then why would you study? So he's right, not talking about study. But he should say, okay, first you need to set yourself a goal. That I actually want to pass this exam because it may make a difference for me in the future. So if you don't have that goal, why would you study?
This is very important. Before study, you should set up your goal.
Yeah.
And more motivation. That's why.
Right, but what a lot of those kids see, that actually the guys who makes the most money are the local drug dealers and the pimps and what have you. That's what they see around them. So they don't need a high school diploma. They don't need all that stuff. So they don't even want to pass that exam. Their ambition is completely different. That's not part of being part of the system. That's part of being outside of the system.
They are neglected.
Yeah.
I see. I understand.
So that's also being part of an individualistic society.
Okay.
Okay, but it's not like, okay, so now then it's time for a little bit of hope and for balance. This is the last example from American education. This is about a school that has the same kind of kids, but where the attitude, or basically somebody's trying to do something different to make these kids feel more motivated to actually become part of the system.
趣味テクとコンプリートワン
What's his teaching?
I'm not really sure what he's teaching. I think why he's teaching and why this is working and what he's actually trying to do basically is creating a kind of like a contract, a reconnection with society, so that basically kids are redirected and put into a structure where there are expectations from them, and basically that will help those kids to come back into society. Basically he's reinventing the contract that already exists in Japanese society, a collectivist society, and that's why it is so successful. I don't know whether he's deliberately doing it, but I feel that basically these kids came from backgrounds where they had difficulty, where teachers were not really trying to teach, but basically trying to go through the day and one day at a time, where he has bigger ideals and goals for them.
They are not ordinary students?
No, I
Yeah,
don't
they-
think. I think they are all, they are all students who have they are behind in their education, so they don't read very well, they don't write very well. And his goal is to bring these kids into college. But the key here is that those kids, they kind of gave up. They kind of like gave up they don't have a dream. They don't really feel that they belong to that society. And he through him, he said, okay, I'm gonna bring you back into that society. So I'm gonna basically create some kind of a bigger goal, a bigger part, and I want you to be part of that. And that's why I think this is such a strong example. This is something that is inherently present in Japanese society, but it's not available in Western society, and that's why people lose contact with that society. That's why it's sometimes so more rough and impersonal, because it's winner or loser. Winner takes all. Loser loses everything. So this is a very
He is
deep...
PhD.
Yeah.
Why he's teaching that school?
No, actually, he got a master's degree from Cambridge. He got a undergrad degree from Stanford, and then he was considering to actually get a PhD. But then he said, okay, why would I get a PhD? Basically, that would just teach me to speak eloquently about education. But if I really care about education, I'd better practice what I preach. So he decided against taking a PhD and just go out into the educational world, tackle the biggest challenges, and trying to see if he could actually.
He's a guy of a preacher.
No.
Why he's doing that?
Because he feels that this is part of his mission. Being an educator, being somebody who wants to educate, he feels that.
It looks like a religionist. Right?
No, I think he's a guy with ideals. Well, that does not necessarily mean religion. I mean, not every ideal has to be translated into the shape and form of money. There are people who don't do that. The same thing for the teacher in the previous video. The teacher who was talking about the education system, he'd been trying to change that system for 27 years, but he couldn't. And why did he fight such an uphill battle and kept on doing that for 27 years? Because he's an idealist. He would have taken a different route if he would feel that would be if it would not have been worthwhile. So
former guy he started teaching 23 years. Why so many years teaching for with bad student?
Because maybe he felt that he was needed to make a difference. Because
he tried to improve them.
Obviously, otherwise he wouldn't step up, because he was already retired. So why would he raise the alarm bells? Because he believes that education is something that is necessary for the United States. And he stepped up and he got on in front of the camera, not to become famous, but because he had been trying to change the system from within for 23 years, but he couldn't.
American teachers' salary is cheap, right?
Yes.
The same as Japan, huh?
Yes.
Strange. I can't believe it.
This major tendency of the societies, some characteristic of the society, I don't know whether it's good or bad, but there's major trend, the common situation, the big wider the case, fixed situation. And then, so if we want to change something, So always there must be the first step. And I don't deny that the grassroots activities. So everything might be starting from the first step, which might be from grassroots activities, but still is there the distance between for the grassroots activity to reach out to measure or fix situation, which is not easy to get changed. So there are always two sides or two aspects. So sometimes the first but which has the good impact to change something bigger.
Right.